Welcome back to another Just 5 Mins. Okay, so is the concept and conversation of AI going to stop? No, of course it isn't. More and more, my goodness. But sifting through it all, you do come across a few interesting nuggets, which is what I've got today, something called Warmwind OS. I'll put the links below as usual. But what makes it different? It's quite an interesting approach. So we're all looking for, well, not all of us, but there's quite a lot of AI automation. That's the catchphrase, isn't it? Using agents to go off and do things, all that sort of stuff, and things like NA10 and Make and all that sort of stuff have all embraced AI agents, so you can build visually your AI agent workflow, and it all works really well. We've now got MCP, Model Context Protocol, glued onto everything. So again, where you might have had an API before to connect to data sources, you've got MCP that allows LLMs or SLMs, small language models, basically AI, to talk to those services natively. So you don't have to go through like a heap of coding. You still have to code stuff up or use a low-code environment. But that's where Warmwind OS is just a little bit different. Sorry about the pause there. It's a little bit different because they've realized for a lot of people, sure, if you want to go and build an AI agent workflow, all the way down at the code level, other tools like semantic kernel in .NET or LangChain and all those Crew AI and all that sort of stuff, or using Make.com, NA10, Pipedream, String, there's a whole host of these things. So the interesting thing is that still needs a level of technical abilities. It's not rocket science, and I don't profess to that either. I think anybody can learn this stuff. And I'll be putting that to the test very soon. But anyway, the idea is Warmwind allows you to have essentially for want of a better phrase, an AI operating system. It's all through the browser, but behind it is when you sign up. And by the way, I'm on a wait list. I haven't actually got my hands on this yet, but I've looked through the information and watched a heap of videos that they've got. And essentially, you get a virtual machine, but they've done some clever stuff. They're training their own models and whatnot, which is quite interesting. But also, they have a concept of an app store. Now, before you go, oh, not another one, it's actually specific for, because if you think, this is going to run in a virtual machine that you're provided with. So, yes, you can add all your normal apps. They show all the Microsoft Office apps and stuff like that. So it's not as if you're buying more apps or, it's another version of an app. It's really allowing those apps to be sort of in this new virtual machine, this Warmwind OS, as they call it. And by the way, the interesting thing that they show is a really old. They're a group of German folks actually that have developed this. So they've got a really old German ERP system, and I sort of not directly work with a lot of ERP systems, but things like SAP Business One, Sage, all the usual Business Central and stuff. And it got me thinking, if it can work with a really old German ERP system, it can certainly work with those applications. And the idea is, when you've got those applications sort of plugged in, and again, this is not copying the program, it's not a new version of those applications that you have to do. It's just registering those applications in Warmwind OS is probably the better way to say it. But once you've done that and the AI's got to work, you can say stuff like, okay, go look at this spreadsheet. On sheet number 1, it's got a list of blah, blah, blah. Go and enter those as sales orders or sales invoices in SAP Business One, or they show the example into this really old German ERP system that has got no API, it's got no chance of having an MCP, and all that sort of stuff, and it goes ahead and does it. But what you then see is within the it's all via the browser, but it's a virtual machine behind that. But it's in the browser, and you see it's like a blue cursor, and that's not you moving. That's the AI going to that spreadsheet, getting the necessary data, and it's scarily good. But it will actually know where to go into. You can train it, by the way, as well. You can say, this is how you create a sales order in XYZ, or this is how I post my data in my blog, or something like that. So it can learn from what you do. But either way, the example that they showed was, taking a spreadsheet. It could take it from anywhere. You could get it from an API. That's just one example, but it's literally through the actual application interface going to create that sales order, invoice, whatever it needs to do. It's very clever. I think they've hit on a really interesting idea, and as they're calling it, it's like an AI employee, and it really feels like that. It's a fascinating world, isn't it? How things are moving. This one has really jumped out. I do hope it gets some good traction. I don't know how much it's going to be, because I don't have access to that at the moment. But I think, given the fact that, yes, you can do a lot of this stuff with AI agent workflows, MCP, and all that sort of stuff, model context protocol, but this is like literally from a user perspective. You don't need to build, you don't even need to know what MCPs are or agent workflows. It's just doing it. So very, very clever. Quite excited about this one. Anyway, I'll put the links below. So that's all from me for this time around. So have a good day, a good week, wherever you are, and we will catch you on the next one.